say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen.
Hello, my friends. I think I know pretty much everybody in this room, but for those who don't know me, I'm Rabbi Barton. I run the synagogue, and I have the joy and privilege of doing that every day of every year for the last 6 years, now going into 7. So tonight, Deirdre is going to lead the service. It is Friday night. It is Shabbat. You'll notice there are a few additions for both, for Friday night specifically, and also for Shabbat. And we'll put them in. You have them in your book to give you a little bit of a kind of roadmap. Whenever we hit anything, and you'll notice this tomorrow too, whenever we hit anything that says Shabbat, like on page 4, which is coming up. This is my book, so it's all like, you can't see it from here, thankfully, but it's all written on. So it says Shabbat over here in the red. And if you can't read Hebrew, that's fine. You'll just know that this is for Shabbat. Now, the service is not, because it's a holiday, is actually meant to be shorter because we're supposed to already be joyous and not need services to make us joyful. If services make you joyful, I don't know. Anyway, so it's not going to be like regular Kabbalat Shabbat with Mariv. It's going to be more like an abbreviated Kabbalat Shabbat with Mariv. And I have a short sermon. I'm banking time for the next couple of days. And then afterwards we'll have some cake and enjoy each other's company for a little while. All right, so we're going to continue on. We're on page 4. Oh, I'm supposed to announce that there is a light blue Toyota Prius with its lights on. All right, we're going to continue. We're on page 4.
Mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, Tov lahodot l'Adonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, l'hagid baboker chastecha, v'nutecha b'leilot, alei asur v'alei navel, alei higion bechinor, mizmor shir leyom haShabbat, Tov lahodot l'Adonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, al asur v'alei navel, alei higayon bechinor, ki simachti Adonai b'hofelecha, v'maseh yadecha ranein, mizmor shir liyom haShabbat, Tov lahodot l'Adonai, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon, ulzamer l'shimcha elyon. Tzadik katamar yifrach, ke'erez ba'levanon yizkei shetulim, beveit Adonai, bechatzrot Eloheinu yafrichu, O Genevut Beseva, Deshenim V'Ra'ananim Yiyu L'Hagid, Ki Yashar Adonai, Zuri Zuri, Velo Avlatapo. Adonai Malakeu Lavesh, Lavesh Adonai Ositazar, Aftikon Tevel, Baltimod. Edu Techana Nemnumo, Levitakana Vahakodesh, Adonai, Leorech Yamim. We continue on page 5. Please rise for Baruch. We continue silently. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamariv Aravim. Continue page 6. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, V'chol levavcha, u'chol nefshecha, u'chol meodecha, v'hayu hadevarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzvacha, hayom alevavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shivtecha beveitecha, uvlechtecha v'aderech, uv'shofbecha u'kumecha, Ukshartam leot ayadecha, v'hayu letotafo b'neinecha, uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Adonai Elohechem, emet, emet ve'emuna kol zot, v'kayam aleinu, ki hu Adonai Eloheinu, continue in the middle of page 8. Umachuto beratzon kibalu alehem Moshe u'Miriam uvnei Yisrael lechanu shira b'simcha rabba ve'amaru hulam Micha mocha belim Adonai Mika mocha netar b'kodesh Norati lot o seifele Malchutecha rovanecha Bokei ayam lifnei Moshe Seli anu ve'amaru Adonai imloch leolam vaed V'ne'emar ki fada Adonai et Yaakov Ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch ata Adonai Gal Yisrael. Page 9. Please join me in the English. Allow us, Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully and to awaken again to life, our sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace, restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us, remove from us enemies and pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow, and remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you are the sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us and over all the people of Israel and over Jerusalem. Ufros aleinu sukat shalomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporeis sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Please rise, bottom of page 9, V'shamru. And I'm going to do a Debbie Friedman melody, which I particularly like. V'shameru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lasot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz uvayom hashavi shavat vayinafash.
Standing on page 10.
Tikhu v'chodesh shofar b'kesel hayom chagenu ki chok liYisrael hu mishpat Elohei Yaakov. Yikadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah B'alama Divera kirutei V'yamlich machutei V'chayechon uvyomechon Uchayedecho Beit Yisrael Bagala Uvizman Kariv V'imru Amen Shemei Rabba Mivarach Leolam Ulamei Alamaya Yitbarach Yitbarach Vishtabach Yitpa'ar Vitromam Vitnasei Vitadar Vitalei Vitalal Shemei Dekucha Barichu La'ela La'ela Mikol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Damiran Be'alema Bimru Amen. We begin the Silent Amidah, page 11. Say shalom bimromav, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, vimru, vimru, amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, yase shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
The blessing of Shalom. We're on the corner or the left side of page 16 in your books. The blessing of Shalom. When the blessing of Shalom is lacking, however much we have of other blessings, wealth or power, fame or family, even health, these all appear as nothing. But when Shalom is present, however little else we have somehow seems sufficient. Shalom means peace, of course, but it means so much more as well. Wholeness, fullness, and completion, integrity and perfection, healing, health, and harmony, utter tranquility, loving and being loved, consummation, forgiveness and reconciliation, totality of well-being. And even all of these together do not spell out sufficiently the meaning of Shalom. But though we cannot accurately translate or adequately define Shalom, we can experience it. Page 19. 16. Oh yes, 18. Sorry. Keep me honest.
Please rise, page 18. This is a kind of a special part for Shabbat. Vaychulu hashamayim v'haaretz v'chozevam vaychal Elohim b'yom hashvi melachto asher asa vayishbot b'yom hashvi mikol melachto asher asa vayvarech Elohim et yom hashvi vaykadesh oto kivo shavat mikol melachto Asher bara Elohim lasot. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzhak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Konei Shamayim Va'aretz Magen Avot Bidvaro Mechayim Meitim B'mamaro HaMelech HaKadosh She'ein Kamohu HaMeniach Le'amo B'yom Shabbat Kodsho Kivam Ratza L'haniach Lahem Kivam Ratza L'haniach Lahem Lefanav na'avod v'yirav v'fachad v'nodeh lishmo b'chol yom tamid me'on habrachot el ha'hodaot adon ha'shalom kadesh ha'shabbat u'mvarech shavi u'meniach b'kedusha la'medusha ne'oneg Zecher L'maaseh v'reishit Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu Retzei v'mnuchateinu Kadeshenu b'mitzvotecha v'tein chalkeinu b'toratecha Sabeinu mituvecha v'samecheinu b'shuatecha v'taher libeinu li'ovdecha be'emet v'hanchilenu Adonai Eloheinu v'yahava u'ratzon Shabbat kodshecha v'nuchuva Yisrael Mekadeshei Shemecha Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. You can be seated. We continue, page 19. Yitgadal v'yikadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alem adivara kirutei ve'yamlich malchutei B'chayechon uvyomechon U'chayedecho Beit Yisrael בגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, לעולם ולעמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתהלך ויתהלל שמי דקודשה. להילה להילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל זלות ההון ובאות ההון דכל ישראל קודם אבוהון דבישמעיה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמעיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. אמן.
Yasher kochech to Deirdre. So the people of Chelm, where the wise fools lived, could never hope to see the western wall of the ancient temple in Jerusalem. Knowing this, and being the wisest fools in the land, they proceeded to designate the western wall of their local synagogue as a surrogate place of worship for its holy counterpart in Israel. Understand that they did this with love and piety, and in no way was it meant to demean or diminish the importance of the real wall. No sooner than the wise council of elders declared the temple wall holy than Boris the Balagula, Balagula meaning not so fancy in both standing and in intellect, would spend hours praying and weeping and wailing and tearing his clothes and pulling his hair and beating his chest, and in general, let me tell you, kvetching up a storm. So much so that Rivka the baker gingerly approached him. Tell me something, Boris. Why are you crying this way? I'm crying for all the sick people. And the people who aren't sick? Also them. They got doctors and nurses for sick people, you know. Glad you reminded me. And the Balagula began wailing so that God might protect the doctors and the nurses. Along came Schneider the tailor. Mine goodness, he said, you're kvetching so much, I can't even sew a hem. For whom are you praying today? Today, sobbed the Balagula, I'm asking God to take care that the tailors shouldn't stick themselves with needles. Also, that bakers shouldn't inadvertently burn themselves on the bagels. What a nice person you are, said the baker and the tailor. You're welcome, sobbed the Balagula. Along came Tevye the milkman. Maybe you got a prayer could help old cows give more milk? My cow is, you'll pardon the expression, an utter disgrace. Rivka the baker was incensed. A pious man like our Balagula shouldn't be bothered with cow prayers. On his shoulders rest the troubles of the whole world already. Tell me, Boris, do your prayers always work? Well, I'll tell you, sighed the Balagula. Some days I feel like I'm talking to a wall. This has been a tough year for many of us individually and also as a people and a world. And as we welcome in 5784, the world, as it so often is felt in these past several years, seems to be at a precipice. Climate change, politics, illness, the unpredictability of humanity, it can all feel like each of us in our own way bears the weight of the troubles of the whole world. It can make one feel helpless and hopeless, as if one is not necessarily talking to a wall, but maybe even like one is banging their head against a wall. There is a wonderful old joke that I love. An avowed atheist would go to shul every Shabbat and sit next to his friend Gottfried. One day, finally someone asked the atheist why he kept coming to services if he didn't believe in God. He replied, "Gottfried goes to shul to talk to God. I go to shul to talk to Gottfried." As the one here who is literally paid to play, I mean paid to pray, on behalf of you all, as is Deirdre, of course, I understand that sentiment and the sentiments of Boris very well. I know it is not easy to talk to God, especially when the world is so challenging. But perhaps you can use this time over the next several days, not necessarily to talk to God, which I know is not a comfortable activity for many of you, but to talk to your friends, your loved ones, the people you trust, including yourself, in the quiet spaces of services. Share your hopes, your fears, your wonder, your challenges, your loves and your losses. Unburden those shoulders as you are able. May you, whenever possible, use your time here as a way to hold and heal all that confounds you, so you may go out into the world in this new year and continue to build the community that you wish to see. Even if the world isn't ready for you yet, even if it feels like you're talking to a wall, the world needs you, your prayers, and your compassionate, loving heart. Shana Tova. I'm banking time for tomorrow. Kidding, not kidding. All right, so we're going to continue on with Kiddush or Kiddush, I think I'm supposed to say properly, and the Shehechianu. We're on page 24. It smells like wine, so don't drink too much at once. Don't be surprised. I know, you're almost done. You're good. You're not going to fumble anymore. By the time it hits you, you'll be done. Okay, so we're on page 24, and we're going to ask you to please rise as you are able.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romamanu mikol hashon v'kidashanu b'mitzvotav v'titein lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava et yom hashבת hazeh ואת יום הזיכרון הזה, יום זיכרון תרועה באהבה מקרא קודש, זכר זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. ודברך אמת וקיים לעד. ברוך אתה אדוני מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש השבת. מלך על כל הארץ, מקדש השבת. מקדש השבת בישראל ביום הזיכרון. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
We're going to continue on with Aleinu. We're on page 25. Please stay standing as you are able.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו ככל יתקן עולם במלכות שדת, וכל בני בשר יקראו לשמך, להפנות אליך כל אישי הארץ. יכירו וידעו כל יושבי תבל, כי לך תקרא כל ברך תשבע כל לשון, לפניך אדוני אלוהינו, יקראו ויפעלו. ולכבוד שמך יקר ייתנו, יקבלו כולם את עול מלכותך, ותמלוך עליהם מהרה לעולם ועד. כי המלכות שלך היא, ועמיה תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, היה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Oh, first? Okay, all right. Oh, you're keeping me honest.
So I can get announcements.
Okay, well, Gloria said I have to tell you this, that last part of Elenu was, I believe, the last thing that Cantor Spyro ever composed, and I just do it once a year in his memory, so it's a lovely melody. Because this is one of our shorter services, so I can get away with it. Page 27, Psalm for the Season of Repentance. LeDavid, Adonai Ori Rishi Mimi Yara, Adonai Ma'od Chayai Mimi Yavchad, B'Karov. Achat shalti me'et Adonai, ota havakesh. Achat shalti me'et Adonai, ota havakesh. Shivti beveit Adonai, kol yemei hayai. Lachazot ben Noam Adonai, uvaker behechalo. Lachazot ben Noam Adonai, uvaker behechalo. Kavel Adonai, chazak lo yimei slipecha, v'kavel Adonai.
On the left-hand side of page 26, the blessing of memory. It's in English, and you can read along while I read it out loud, or you can read it with me if you want. It is hard to sing of oneness when our world is not complete, when those who once brought wholeness to our life have gone, and nothing but memory can fill the emptiness their passing leaves behind. But memory can tell us only what we were in company with those we loved. It cannot help us find what each of us alone must now become. Yet no one is really alone. Those who live no more echo still within our thoughts and words, and what they did is part of what we have become. We do our best homage to our dead when we live our lives most fully, even in the shadow of our loss. For each of our lives is worth the life of the whole world, and each one is the breath of the divine. In affirming God, we affirm the worth of each one whose life, now ended, brought us closer to the source of life, in whose unity no one is alone, and every life finds purpose. Chaim Stern. This week in the community, we mark the art sites of the following people: Martin Greller, Lester Bookie, Thelma Tybee Risson, Rose Fisher, Leonard Rosenthal, Anna Bedauer, Edward Glazer, Jacob Gould, Samson Perlmutter, Etta Borg, Dorothy Lederman, Esther Gavant, Max Steinway, Larry Myers, Sarah Galinsky, Charles Silver, and Kimberly Parker. May all their memories always be for a blessing whenever possible. We also remember the recent passing of James Markovis, the beloved father of Bobby Kalashi, Frank Markovis, and David Markovis, the beloved grandfather of Jenny Blumberg, Karen Goodwin, Daniel Kalashi, Jeff Markovis, and Mike Markovis, and also the beloved great-grandfather of Zara and Mia Blumberg. Dr. Harvey Dissenhouse, the beloved father of Rebecca Heisman, the beloved grandfather of Landon, Jordan, and Elijah Heisman. David Woolnerman, the beloved father of Michael Woolnerman, and the beloved grandfather of Eli Woolnerman and Benjamin Woolnerman. And Faiz Ephraim E. Kalashi, the beloved brother of Nashi Kalashi, and the beloved uncle of Jenny Blumberg. May all their memories always be for a blessing whenever possible. Mourner's Kaddish is on page 26. All those who are observing a yard site, all those who are in mourning, please say along with me and please rise. If it is your custom to rise in solidarity with the mourners, or to say Kaddish for people who have no one to say Kaddish for them, please also rise at this time. Page 26. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah Be'alma Divra Kirute V'yamlich Malchute B'chayechon Uvyomechon Uv'chayei D'chol Beit Yisrael Ba'agala Ubizman Kariv V'imru Amen Yehe Shmei Rabba Mevarach Leolam Ulame Amaya Yit Barach V'yishtabach V'yit Pa'ar V'yit Romam V'yit Naseh V'yit Hadar V'yit Ale V'yit Halal Shemei D'Kudisha B'rechu Le'ela Mikol Berchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechemata Da'amiran Be'alma V'imru Amen Yehe Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen Oseh Shalom B'mromav Hu Ya'aseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May all the memories always be for a blessing whenever possible. You can have a seat. So a few announcements. I want to thank the Tifereth Women's League Lewis and Marilyn Hurwitz Flower Fund for the beautiful Rosh Hashanah flowers that we have, and we'll also have beautiful different flowers for Yom Kippur. I say that it's okay to do fall colors for Rosh Hashanah and white for Yom Kippur. I know in past years when we used to have flowers, we would do all white roses the whole time, and then I would watch our lovely Bima friends like get poked by the roses and whatever, and it was a little bit tragic. So I thought, you know, it's nice that we put them here, and also that they're fall colors. I think it's more cheerful, especially for this holiday. So services are on this orange piece of paper. You've also gotten several emails from us, and we even mailed something to everybody's house who's a member of the congregation. So if you don't know when services are, I don't know what to tell you. But regardless, we don't put anything on the website anymore. This is being recorded, so I'm not going to announce times for things. But we don't put anything on the website anymore for security reasons. So if people are like, if you go to the website and it says it's like the fall holidays for 2021, like, yeah. But you can find out. You know, we have lots of ways that you can find out. And you can take these papers home. They can go with you, and you can put them on your fridge or whatever to remember. So there's a couple things I need to tell you about tomorrow. One of them is that this year we are blessed with having a lot of young people doing a lot of the service. Me and Deirdre get to take a little bit of a back seat, but you will be amazed at what all of these teenagers have been able to do and what they've been able to learn. Over the next 2 days, you'll see them, and then over Yom Kippur, you'll see them as well. So please come and support the younger folk that are learning services so that they can pay their way through college by knowing how to lead services for high holidays. Kidding, not kidding. So anyway, so that will be really good. The other things I want to make sure I tell you about tomorrow in particular is, so it is Shabbat tomorrow, as you may or may not be aware. There's a couple of things that don't happen on Shabbat when Rosh Hashanah falls on Shabbat. One of them is the blowing of the shofar. So the shofar will not be blown tomorrow, unfortunately. But I have a really good sermon for the second day, so you should come back. And the shofar will be blown on the second day of Rosh Hashanah. It has to do with like the Jewish law around carrying and whatever, like stuff that you guys don't care about, but that I have to follow in the book. And the other thing that is not done on Rosh Hashanah day 1 is Avinu Malkeinu. Okay, so I just want you to know, Rabbi Barton doesn't hate Avinu Malkeinu. Rabbi Barton doesn't want to like kill it forever. I'm not trying to make you miserable. The book says I'm not supposed to do it, okay? So there's even a strike through for whoever has it. Like, it's like, don't do it, it's Shabbat. I think that's because there's a lot of additions because it's Shabbat. We have to make the aliyot into 7. It's normally 5 on a weekday. There's some things that kind of happen and change a little bit that already add to the service, and I think that the rabbis, in their infinite not wisdom in this case, decided to cut Avinu Malkeinu so that it was like one less thing that you were doing on Shabbat too. Other than that, everybody always wants to know when I'm going to speak. I have no idea, but probably somewhere around 11-ish. If you want to hear about what college football, the NFL, Ted Lasso, and Rilke have in common, you should come tomorrow morning. And if you want to know what, look, man, I got to dance with the one that brung me, right? Like, I mean, it's like, I know what's playing tomorrow. I know who's playing tomorrow. I paid attention. The game's not till 2:30, so you can be here. And then Sunday I'm talking about all kinds of other really fascinating things. It was a real fun sermon to write. But tomorrow's I wanted to write a sermon that I would find fun. So watch me make a Rosh Hashanah sermon out of football. Yay, exactly, yay. Other than that, you have a list of all the events that are coming up. So this year, we have no free Sunday in between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, so that's why the Kevorah vote is on a weeknight, and we put it like a little bit later so if people were working that they could come, like not just right in the afternoon. So we're gonna do that together with the temple, and he'll be at Woodlawn first, and then we'll meet us. We'll do Tashlech, and then Rabbi Schuster will meet us over at the Jewish Glendale Cemetery. And then this weekend is Shabbat Shuvah, so it's a little bit extra with Shabbat. And then the following week is Kol Nidre. And to let you know about that, Barb Hirschkiller is going to do an alternative service on Yom Kippur Day in the classroom. We're going to have family services here coming up tomorrow and then also next week. And there's also 3 Yom Kippur Day classes that are going to happen after the services between morning services and Mincha, and you'll see the topics and our lovely teachers and their names and what they're teaching. And then we'll have Mincha, Ne'ilah, and Havdalah. And when the fast ends this year, we were very, very, very blessed to have the Women's League host and sponsor our community break, the fast, so that we could actually have one this year. So thank you to the Women's League for all the amazing things you do, especially for providing for that. It's a big ordeal, I know. Other than that, we need help with the sukkah tremendously. If you have any kind of building expertise at all, there's going to be an email that goes out. Please help. And do what you can, and we can put everything up but the skach, the roof, before Yom Kippur. So we can get most of it done. And then you have to please come back and help put up the skach. Don't leave it skachless. So with that, my friends, I don't have anything else to say except I love you very much. Enjoy the cake! What? All right, so I don't really know what's over there yet, but there's lots, it looks like. So we left the tables out like we do for Shabbat Cafe, and after Deirdre finishes up here with Yigdal, then you guys can don't mob it too much, but it'll be good. And we have some water out, and you can have a seat and chat with your friends and wish them all a Shana Tova. See you tomorrow.
Page 28, and please join me. Yigdal Elohim Chai ve'yishtabach nimtza ve'enei el metziuto echad ve'en yachid ke'yichudo ne'elam ve'gam ein sof v'achduto ein lo demut haguf ve'eno guf lo na'aroch elav kedushato kadmon lachol davar Asher Nivra, Rishon Vein Reshit, the Reshito. Hino Adon Olam V'chol Notzar, Yoreh Gedulato Umalchuto, Shefa Nevuato Netano, El Anshe Segulato V'tifarto, Lo Kam B'Yisrael Kemoshe Od, Navi Umabit Et Emunato, Torah Temet Natan Le'amoel, Aya Nevio Neman Beito, Lo Yachal Yifa'el Ve'lo Yamir Dato, Le'olamim Le'zulato, Zofer Ve'yodea Zetarenu, Mabit L'sof Davar Ve'kadmato, Gomer Leish Chesed Kemifalo, Noten L'rasha Rakerishato, Yishlach L'ket Yamin Meshihenu, Livdod Mechakekes Yeshuato, Meti Michael Beroch Hasto, Baruch Hadeat Shem Tehilato, Meti Michael Beroch Hasto, Baruch Hadeat Shem Tehilato.
Shabbat Shalom and Shana Tova.